Good morning to all. I know that all are in lockdown, so that's why we promoted the online classes. So today I will discuss a very important portion in 9th standard, and name of the chapter Force and Laws of Motion. Clear? Name of the chapter Force and Laws of Motion, and we know that already we studied in lower classes what is meant by force. Isn't it? So what is meant by force? A force means either it is a push or pull, that is called a force. And in this chapter we will study about this laws of motion. Clear? Laws of motion. And before that, for study this laws of motion, we want to understand what is the main difference between this balanced force and unbalanced force. Clear? The main difference between this balanced force and unbalanced force. Using an example, I will explain this, then it will be easy for you. Okay. So for example, that's why we want to consider a box. Clear? So here there is a box, and now I am giving a number 1, 2. Imagine that here one person is standing, here also another person is standing. Okay. And in the first case, imagine, then only it will be clear. So imagine if the first person applied a certain amount of force to the body. At the same time, the second person also applied the same amount of force to the box. Situation clear? So there is a box, heavy box, and this is the first person and this is the second person, and first person applied a force to this box. At the same time, the second boy also applied a force to the box. In that time, we cannot see the movement of this box. Clear? What is the condition? Both persons applied the same force to this box, and that type of force is called a balanced force. For example, if you consider a desk and two boys are standing in two sides, if you applied same force, we know that the desk will not move, isn't it? So that type of force is called a balanced force. Clear? Then second one, if you understand the balanced force, it is very easy to study this unbalanced one. Okay. So second one, unbalanced force means here there is a change needed. What change? So in the first case, the first boy applied the force from this side and the second boy applied the force from other side. And in the second case, the second boy moves to this side. That means the first boy and the second boy in the same side. And both boys applied a certain amount of force to this box. That time this box will move to opposite direction. When the two boys applied the force to from one side, the box will move. That type of force is called unbalanced. Okay, unbalanced force. Now I think you got the idea about this balanced force and unbalanced force. Clear? All of you got the idea what is the main difference between this balanced one and unbalanced one. Then after that we can move to the laws of motion. There are mainly three laws are there. First law of motion, first, then second and third. These are the main important laws of motion. Once again, first law of motion, second law of motion and third law of motion. And first we will consider the first law of motion. Clear? So first we want to study from in the textbook. There is a definition is given, and definition I will give. After that I will explain this first law. Clear? So first law states that every body continues its state of rest of motion unless it is compelled by an external force. This is the definition. In simple language we can say that there is no external force acting on a body, it will not change. Clear? And again I am explaining first law, every body continues its state unless it is compelled by an external force. For example, if you are throwing a ball and another boy is there, try to catch that ball. Okay. So when the second boy tries to catch, the ball will comes to rest, and the ball was in initial state, it was in the moving position. That means there is no external force acting on a body, it will remain in the state. This is the first law. Clear? And moving to second law states that the rate of change of momentum, the d by dt means d by dt of p. What is p? Here p is the momentum. This is the new term, and we want to study what is p means. P is equal to p in m into v. What is m? M is the mass of the object and v is the velocity. So we can again, from this equation, we can again make a definition, that is p is equal to m into v. So momentum is defined as the product of mass into velocity. And the second law states that F proportional. What is F? F means the applied unbalanced external force always directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum. Clear? Rate of change of momentum. Clear? Both laws clear. So again, once again I am telling, first law, second law. First law states that every body continues its state of rest of motion unless it is compelled by an external force. That means there is no external force acting on a body, it will remain in the state. Okay. And second one, the rate of change of momentum. What is momentum? Momentum means it is the product of mass and velocity. And second law states that F is proportional to the rate of change of momentum is proportional to the unbalanced external force. Clear? And we are moving to the third law. Third law, very simple, you are familiar with this third law. Every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, third law states that every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Here comes two new words, action and reaction. What is action? Two terms, action and reaction. So here also I will consider two objects. I given the name number 1 and 2. Clear? One is representing the first object and second number representing the second object. And what is action? What is action? Action means the first body exerts a certain amount of force to the second body, that is called action. Understand? That means the first body exerts a certain amount of force to the second body, that is called action. At the same time, the second body exerts a same amount of force to the first body in the opposite direction. Clear? Same amount, but second body exerts a amount of force to the first body in the opposite direction, that is called a reaction. Now got the idea? Action and reaction. And the third law states that every action there is equal and opposite reaction. And these are the three laws of motion, first law, second law and third law. Okay. Then after that we want to study the practical applications of this first law, second law and third law. It is given in the textbook, and we know that when our mother, when cleaning the carpet, you are familiar with he is beating, isn't it? In that time the dust will come outside. These are the one important example of this first law of motion. Clear? Okay. Then after that, in the page number 118, there is two terms, inertia and mass. Inertia and mass. Okay. Inertia and mass. These are also new terms. Then first I will consider the term inertia. What is inertia? You heard that, but you don't know that the exact meaning of this inertia. Then we can give a definition for this inertia: inability of a body to change its state, that is called the inertia. We know that when we consider in the surroundings, some of them are in the rest position and the other one is in moving. Okay, how we can say that if the object is in rest position, if the object is not moving with the time, that is called the rest position, and if the position of the object is changing with the time, that is called the motion. Clear? So inertia means inability. For example, if you kept one object on the desk, it will remain in the state, isn't it? If you try to apply some force, what will happen? So that time it will move from one side to another side. Okay, that means one object, it cannot be movable from one place to another place by itself. That is called the inertia. In simple language, we can say that inability of a body to move from one position to another position, that is called the inertia. Then what is mass? Mass means, for example, this is a chalk piece, isn't it? And for making this chalk piece, how much chalk powder needed, that amount will be the mass of the object. For example, another example, our textbook, isn't it? That paper needed. So how much paper needed, that amount will be the mass. Clear? These are the two terms. Okay, now I think that portion is over. First part is over. Then what we studied? First we studied force and laws of motion. That was the name of the chapter. Then after that we understand that what is the main difference between this unbalanced force. Then after that, three laws: first law, second law and third law, and the practical applications. Okay. Then after that, inertia and mass. Then I would like to give an activity for you. Your activity: find out the practical applications of first law and second law and third law. This is the activity from this part. Okay, I think all of you understand this topic. Then complete the activity, and thank you.